Finally. Finally we make it.
Đây là
Đây nè, đây nó có xe bus rồi sao nó cho mình lên rồi.
restaurant. Như some burger coke.
Ừ đó, bút canal gì nãy mẹ nói đó, bút canal.
Đưa ra đây. Chắc cái đây không?
Bên này là đây nè. Thấy bên này, vô cái đấy ta cũng đi bộ vô mà, đi bộ qua bên này nè. The State Museum. Này nó rộng lắm, lớn lắm mà tự mình vô mình lấy cái giấy mình có cái phải có cần quá lấy cái bản đồ, không có bản đồ của cái chỗ này mình mới biết được.
Chúng ta em đi xuống mỗi lần kìa.
Chỗ này xe tour nó tới đông dữ lắm.
Người nào đi bộ như mình cũng cừ lắm. Đi mà từ nước khác mà không biết tiếng mà đi lên đây đúng chỗ là hay đó. Hay rồi.
Giống như đi mặt cây rồi đó. Gạt cây chứ. Mà gạt cây nó đâu cần rân rồi đi nha. Chỗ này anh nghĩ chắc du khách tới nhiều. Được Gia Thái tới đây là họ hực này.
Mà nó sốc lắm, sốc lắm. Anh nữa trường hợp gì em cũng sốc.
Painful.
Cái nói này free sao anh đi này.
Painful experience.
Candle, bonfire, candle.
Có nhiều người khóc chứ, có nhiều người có penalty á. Đây nè, đây cái gì trước cái chuyện này. Tụi German nó force cái nó occupy cái Poland là nó dùng cái bởi vậy nó không có dùng nước Đức nữa này thì as a concentration camp the outskirts of the town. 1940 nó đổi cái Auschwitz and nó đi vào đây là Kremlin.
Là phố là dân đây đó. Ngồi đây nha, phố đây là
The Gypsy hả?
Gypsy là gì?
Gypsy là người
Gypsy
dân du mục á hả Julie? Dân du mục á.
Gypsy là gì?
Dân du mục.
Yeah, the party of
But 1942 when the Nazi put into their plan to destroy the entire Jewish colony of Europe.
So we're here.
Oh.
Children với women thấy ở đây là chỉ có chết thôi đó ha. Mà born or right to death đó. Đi đi con. Mình coi mình đưa ở chỗ E là chỗ nào nè. E nó có mấy chỗ rồi. A, B, C, D là E là Auschwitz 1 and B là Auschwitz Birkenau. Đi là bên kia nè, dưới bên kia nó có mấy chỗ rồi. Mongoose. Còn đấy đấy nó là đâu. Bay SS là cái gì? SS là ai vậy? Oh, they was brought here by train.
Vô. Quần phía ngoài.
C'est bon.
Cette situation rendait très difficile à diriger le transport des prisonniers politiques polonais sans venir.
Suffered the Nazi terror. Death camps were one of its main instruments. The largest camp, called Konzentrationslager Auschwitz, was established in Oświęcim. It was organized in 1940 and originally designed for Polish political prisoners, particularly for members of the underground and intellectuals. Beginning in 1941, captives from other European countries, including Russian prisoners of war, were also sent to Auschwitz. As the number of prisoners increased, the camp developed until it became an enormous death factory consisting of 3 camps: Auschwitz, Birkenau, and Monowitz. The Monowitz concentration camp was attached to IG Farben Industrie, a German chemical plant exploiting slave labor of the prisoners. People incarcerated in the camp died of hunger, exhausting work, punishment, experiments, and execution. In 1942, the camp became the largest extermination center of Jews who were sentenced to death solely because of their Jewish origin. Most of them were killed in the gas chambers of Birkenau immediately after their arrival. Only those capable of hard work were selected to live. Beginning in 1943, gypsies were also exterminated at Auschwitz. A cynical motto crowned the entrance gate: Arbeit macht frei. Work gives freedom. But the road to that freedom was guarded by rows of electrified barbed wire. Day after day, the prisoners worked hard under the supervision of the SS men. For over 4 years, people lived behind the barbed wire, being deprived of literally everything. They were tortured and killed. These women prisoners survived, and this is their first day of freedom. Helena Jablonska, age 73. Olimpia Pruszynovska, age 69. Stanisława Krzeczkowska, age 54. Photographs of people deported to the camp by the Nazis were found in the camp. They were Jews from all of Europe who constituted the highest number of victims, as well as Poles, Gypsies, Czechs, Yugoslavs, Frenchmen, Russians, Belarusians, and others. These prisoners were rescued by the Red Army. They could not believe they were finally safe, and it was difficult to understand that freedom was now possible. Some of them were extremely emaciated, such as this old man shown here, who is actually only 42. Bojana Taus from Yugoslavia and a little girl from Czechoslovakia, Catherine Berg. Doctors helped those who were incapable of moving by themselves. Many had to be carried. About 7,000 prisoners were free. Among those who survived were Olga, Jovanka, and Oleg Mandic, who lived in the hell of Auschwitz for 8 months. They are members of the family of Dr. Ante Mandic, a member of the Yugoslav government. The prisoners needed medical assistance immediately and were taken to hospitals. One female prisoner, Catherine Unger, did not live to see liberation. The SS men killed her as she tried to escape. than 500 children survived, including over 40 babies born in the camp and more than 300 children under the age of 14. Children were kept mainly for experiments. Lethal medical experiments were performed on them. These children survived because SS Dr. Josef Mengele needed twins for his infamous experiments. These children, who had come to be known only by their concentration camp numbers, recalled their names as they returned to life after liberation. Evidence of the Nazi crimes were found in the abandoned camp. A special commission immediately proceeded to preserve the remains. The Nazis built 5 crematoria with gas chambers. This is a part of a furnace used for burning corpses. People were killed in gas chambers with poisonous gas called cyclone B. This is a set of poisons to be injected into the heart. At torture and death barracks in the Auschwitz yard, executions were performed. The men in striped clothes are famous European scientists imprisoned in the camp. Professor André Limousin from the French University in Clermont-Ferrand. Professor Bertolt Epstein, head of the Children's Clinic at Prague University. Professor Paul Mansfield, a member of the Hungarian Academy of Sciences. Dr. Bruno Sigmund Fischer, a neuropathologist from Prague. In the Nazi death factory, nothing was wasted. Piles of glasses. Even used toothbrushes, clothes brushes, and shaving brushes were collected to be used again. The loot of the slaughterers was accumulated in over 30 storerooms and then sent to the Reich. Enormous stores of underwear and clothes. Who was to be endowed with the gowns of murdered babies? Who was to use those little dresses or those piles of underwear? More than 43,000 pairs of shoes were found here. Dentists extracted gold from the teeth of dead prisoners. Piles of women's hair packed into sacks, each weighing between 22 and 28 kilograms. 7 tons remained. Human hair was used as raw material in the German textile industry. Heaps of suitcases with labels in virtually every language, most of them belonging to Jews who had been deceived into thinking they were moving to a new place. inch of soil in Oświęcim is proof of horrible crimes. Another tomb is uncovered. These people were neither gassed nor cremated. They died of hunger, itself an instrument of torture and murder. Immediately after liberation, Soviet and Polish doctors began to struggle to save the lives of prisoners who survived. Simon Appel from Romania was unable to walk without help. Children had frostbitten legs. This little girl from Czechoslovakia was ordered to stand barefoot in the snow for an entire day. The doctors did their best to save her legs. A boy, Pavel Schatz, also from Czechoslovakia, had similar injuries. These men were objects of sterilization experiments performed by Nazi doctors. This woman was given intravenous injections of poisonous substances. A Hungarian, Spau, and a Frenchman, Baroli, were infected with bacteria that caused ulcerations. The experiments were supposed to enrich the Nazi science of surgery. A Hungarian boy, Brankel, shared a piece of bread with his female neighbor. To punish him, an SS man shot him in the head. Corpses of those who died before liberation and those who could not be rescued were buried near the camp. Can the wrong suffered by these and other victims of torment in Auschwitz be redressed? Were the guilty brought to justice? The film has been based on chronicles made by cameramen of the First Ukrainian Front and photographic files.
Taken by one of the Nazis in 1941, showing the kitchen and the camp's orchestra, the prisoners' orchestra in fact. All musicians from this orchestra were prisoners, and they used to stand here by the kitchen, just like in the photograph, playing marches for other prisoners going out to work, just to make it easier for them to keep in step and for the guards to count them. They had to play these marches because prisoners had to work, in fact everywhere. But most of them had to work in workshops and factories. There were workshops and factories around here, many. For example, 2 kilometers from here in this direction, there was a huge detonator factory and a chemical factory about 6 kilometers from here in this direction. Also many workshops. The prisoners had to work there at least 11 hours a day. So 11 hours was an absolute minimum. Many had to work even longer, 12, 13 hours a day. Every day, in fact. They had only either 1 or 2 days off a month. So as a prisoner here, you had to work and work and work and work until you died. Not only because of punishments, because of hunger and disease, but also because of this very, very hard labor and very long, as you know. Very few prisoners survived longer than just 3-4 months. The average of survival was only 3-4 months here, but many died even before, especially not very healthy, not very young ones. But those from the orchestra, they had it better. They had it better because the Nazis treated them much better. The Nazis set up this orchestra also for propaganda purpose, of course. In case of any visit from outside, for example, from Red Cross, it was possible for the Nazis to show the people from outside this orchestra and to tell them, look like prisoners have good here. They have even their own orchestra. You know? So probably the people from outside seeing these solid blocks here, these brick buildings, very solid ones, the orchestra, And also many flowers. There were also flowers sometimes between the blocks. They couldn't imagine that Auschwitz was in fact.
Cái cửa sổ này chắc là nó mới làm lại thôi.
Không, đúng
Bên
đó.
trong á, cái bên trong.
Ở trong,
Bên trong á. Còn cái cửa ngoài thì là nó.
Nguyên thủy.
Dobra, co mamy robić? Co mamy zrobić? Okay, most of the buildings around you, they existed here even before the war started. As I said, the Nazis set the first part of Auschwitz, only this one, not the second. Join our call that wall like this, death wall, because some guards shot at the wall at least several times. They were those who did something wrong. For example, people who tried to escape from there, people who were members of underground, people who broke one of machines in one of his neighboring workshops or factories, and therefore they could be accused of by Nazis of sabotage. If you are given as a more, like for example those who stole some food from the kitchen of the storage, because they were hungry of course, they were arrested first and they were placed in this basement there. That basement, the basement of the block number 11, became camp's prison. Once a week, on Fridays probably, two high Nazi functionaries from Auschwitz, by the arms bent behind the backs, in this way that their feet didn't have any contact with the ground. They could be hanging like this for many hours and then released. But many of them, they couldn't work properly after and were killed by the Nazis because they didn't tolerate any who were unfit for work, even non-Jewish very often. But most of these people who were
and then naked. So they were let out to the end.
Đây là đi về ấm ha. Sướng.
Giày đối với nó là lạnh nóng đó, phải không? Nó mà được thấy mặt trời thì nó mừng đó.
Không mưa nữa còn tốt hơn. Nó đi trời tốt. Đi ra cái kia này hay á.
Beautiful day.
That house belonged to founder and first commandant of Auschwitz, Rudolf Höss. He used to live there to get his wife and 5 children. So the whole family of Höss, of the first commandant, used to live there quite long, from 40 to 43 years long. And had a beautiful garden around. He wrote about this, for example, her garden, meaning his wife, was a paradise of flowers. He used the word paradise in this context without any irony, seriously. And this paradise of flowers around the house was quite close to the chimney of crematorium number 1. As you can see, they lived just about 100 meters far from the gas chamber crematorium. After the war, the Rudolf Höss was hiding for some time in Germany as Franz Lang, but he was recognized. He was recognized, sent to Poland, sentenced to death in Warsaw, and he was executed over there by hanging. It was in 47, April 47. He was punished. It was, I heard, a wish of prisoners to bring him back here and to punish him. But only 12% of the Nazis from Auschwitz, as I said, were punished. Occasions. And first, shower and disinfection. It must be very dirty, and we don't want an epidemic here. And all these people finally did so. So they left everything there. The Nazis promised them hot soup after the shower. And they noticed that some of these people were even glad hearing about the soup they were supposed to get just after the shower. Finally, all these victims came here, naked of course. Was removed also here from heads of men and women only, because the woman's head was stronger and probably longer as well. And the corpses were put on such carts. Sometimes there were 2 or even 3 corpses the Nazis put on each one at the same time. Especially the small corpses, so the small corpses of children. The carts, the rails, and the ovens are all original. You can see this original mass murder facilities, but only those from metal are original. The bricks are not. You can see 2 ovens on your right, and the third was at the time on the right. But remember, these 3 ovens, the crematorium number 1 was very small compared to each crematorium in Birkenau. The capacity of this one, the official capacity, was only 340 corpses a day, whilst the capacity of crematorium number 2, for example, in Birkenau, about 1,500 a day. In fact, that crematorium was burning 2,500 corpses a day. So the crematoriums in Birkenau were much, much bigger, each one even, than this one. But all the crematoriums in Birkenau were blown up by the Nazis themselves in 45. So here, in fact, we can see this original mass murder facilities.
Quá ngày nào nó bị điện giật hết. Đúng không? Nãy nó nói đó, chỗ này là chỗ Nazi ở nè.
Chỗ nhà có tụi Nazi.
First, we spent together about 1 hour and 10 minutes. At 1 exactly, the shuttle bus will come back. Okay, more or less at 1, because I must say, because there are so many tourists and we have only 1 bus. Sometimes the bus comes, leaves Birkenau a little bit earlier than the first one, then Auschwitz one, and became the biggest camp in the history. I must say, I don't know any bigger camp than Birkenau. Because you can imagine there are about 100,000 prisoners here, about 100,000. So just like a city, I would say, without an exaggeration. 100,000 prisoners living in about 300 barracks. But before the war started, it was a peaceful Polish village, Brzezinka. The Nazis called in German Birkenau. And this village existed here even during the war, but only until 1941. On the 1st of March 1941, the head of the SS, Heinrich Himmler, visited Auschwitz and its neighborhood, and though his visit lasted here only about 90 minutes, so in Auschwitz and its neighborhood together, he made some important decisions during this 1.5 hour. And the most important one, in my opinion, was to set up a new camp right here. This village ceased to exist after his visit. All Polish people were driven out from here brutally, all the houses were dismantled. And then the Nazis built B1 on your left, the first and never finished, and the first and the smallest part of Birkenau. All barracks you can see there on the left are original, apart from the roofs. In each one the Nazis held 600-700 people at a time. That means that each bed was occupied there by 5, 6, 7 people. B1 was the first, B2 on the right was the second half. The second much bigger. It was covered once with about 200 barracks, this area.
Yeah, pretty much. But some of it was direct towards the war.
if you can remember this, it consisted of 3 palms. You can see the first palm on your right. It was the undressing room, underground. Over there was a crematorium. Sorry, it was a gas chamber there, and the crematorium was on the left side. So the people from the platform, those who were sentenced to death, without knowing this, of course, they could see only the building of crematorium because it was the only part built on the ground. All these people were led along this road there by the Nazis. At the time they couldn't see the steps yet, because the steps you can see here, they are part of the monument. So this monument didn't exist at that time yet. All these people were of course told about the shower and disinfection by the Nazis, you know, about the work here. They told them about that the children were be sent to school here or to kindergarten, you know. Of course, in order to assure them that there's nothing to worry about here. All these people are downstairs. This undressing room looked like any undressing room in the world. There was white, there was electricity there, you know, the benches, even hooks with numbers. Yeah, really. There's people could undress and they could hang the clothes under a particular number on a particular hook. And Nazis told them there very often, don't.
This chamber. And destroyed by the Nazi when the Allies come.
Some of our tourists usually ask us about revolts here, about uprisings. It's just one in Auschwitz. I was discovered crematorium number 4, about 600-700 meters from here. It was at 1 p.m., so just in the middle of the day. They attacked suddenly the guards and the criminals. They killed all of them, and they set fire to the building of crematorium. So suddenly the prisoners from the camp they could see the smoke not only from the chimney but also from the building and fire. You know, they wanted to escape. They tried to escape, but they were all killed by the Nazis. Probably only 2 out of to survive, and these 2 survived. The brothers Dragon, probably because they got mixed with prisoners from other crematoriums. Not all crematoriums participated in the uprising because of betrayal and because of problems with communication between the crematoriums. Only
the flag is
Za 3 minuty do kopalni będzie słychać grupa turystów indywidualnych. Turyści posiadający bilet proszeni są o stawianie przed drzwiami wejściowymi.
No jak mnie ona tutaj to powiedziała, że rozmawiała tam z 5 razy. Dobra, to czyli 4 bilety.
Enjoy quá, cái này enjoy quá. Vừa xong cái enjoy kia lại enjoy này. Oh man. Bao nhiêu step? Hả? 380 step. Watch out yourself. Oh my god. Oh. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Cái này giống như mẹ với ba đi bên Rome á.
Không đi thằng Pyramid á. Nhớ không?
Dương đi chụp hình với Dương đi.
Yeah, mine are shaking as well. It's really hard.
Salt. Salt đó thấy không? Salt đây. Salt đây con. Lick. Vô đi.
Good evening, I'm Maciek. I'm the one who's going to be your guide down here, if you don't mind. If you don't. I'm going to speak English because that's a part of my job. Polish, that's my favorite language. I speak Polish very well. I can't, but I do my best, of course. It's the level 1 of the mine. We are 64 meters below the ground level. It was a long way down because we've done nearly 400 steps. Yeah, this is not finished because in the moment we are going downstairs. We are going down to level 3. That's 135 meters deep. There is an elevator to go back up.
Good.
2.5 kilometers. I would like you to visit the most interesting section of the mine. A couple of caverns, they are called the chambers here. 3 upper levels that all you can visit. The mine goes down to level 9, 327 meters. That's the deepest point of the mine. The mine is still active. I mean, salt is still produced here. It's been working for more than 700 years because the regular mining was started here in 1280s. It seems to be the oldest. He was born in 1470. Francis, he was the one who make salt dark. The concentration of sodium chloride is pretty high, because sometimes it reaches 96%. I'm going to show you another kind of salt today, called the salt crystal. That's the purest salt. It looks like a glass or plastic. You're standing on the green salt right now, you're walking on the green salt. You're in the salt mines. It's no wonder. Before we start walking, let me give you a couple of rules. Watch your step, please, because many steps are made of salt. They might be slippery, and watch your head. The most important thing is, do me a favor and don't you smoke here, because it is not allowed. Like in every single mine all over the world, I guess. Have a good time.
Thank you.
The composition illustrates the final moment of the legend. Read the story about the original. Let me tell you the story. That happened more than 700 years ago. Inga, the Hungarian princess, the daughter of the Hungarian king, Bela, she was the one who got married to Polish prince Borisław of Kraków province. Kraków used to be the capital of Poland in the Middle Ages. Should be all the time. The legend says there was no salt in Poland a long time ago. Salt was a thing of a great value. It's hard to believe, but if you had a salt, you could buy anything. Princess Kinga decided to give to the Polish people something special, something they didn't have, salt. She asked them. Let me tell you a few words about the ventilation system now. The mine is, well, ventilated. I mean, they are pumping the oxygen down the mine 24/7. There are 6 ventilation surface shafts here. 3 of them are in, 3 of them are out. In the old days, they didn't do that because no ventilation systems were known. The miners used to work by the light of fire oil lamps. The greatest thing down here was a gas, I mean the methane gas or the methane one, CH4. Yeah, it was lighter than Earth, so it got under the roofs of the caves. It was colorless. They had to eliminate it. Miners called gas burners. They used to do it crawling on their knees and holding long torches. It was the only one way of eliminating methane out of the excavations. Many of them died. The place has been dedicated to them for a couple of years. Present, the mine is out of the gas thanks to the vent.
Đúng không? Đi gì cũng đâu có cần đi nhiều sao? Đâu có đi nhiều đâu. Hay ha? Nó có kê rồi bạn ha?
Ngày xưa là biển chỗ này mà.
Sao biết? Thì sao?
15,000 years, million years ago. Có biển rồi mới đâu. Bởi vậy nó mới là sót đó, sót.
Cái cave này là natural phải không? Hả?
They dug it to get the salt.
Thì đất vậy hả?
This is how they transport salt. A long time ago, blocks of salt, pieces of salt, everything used to be transported with wooden carts and wooden wagons. So you can see some of them were powered by the miners, like the little one. Some of them were powered by the horses. Horses used to work down here. They used to live down here actually, because they didn't transport horses up and down the mine every single day. It would be too complicated because sometimes. Outside. It was powered by horses, 8, 10 or 12 horses walking around. 2 ropes going down the shaft, 60-70 meters that was the range of the rope. Everything is to be transported up and down the mine in that way. The salt, timbers, the miners, the horses even. Polish horses can do that. Look at it. The block of salt is going up. The wood is going down the mine. It's doing it as bananas. At that time, the first year it was nearly 2 tons, 2,000 kilos. It's an original thing. It is more than 200. Never went here. No shop here. We have from the level it was transferred here from 1980s. This original. Place is dedicated to
King của Poland.
The beginning was far away. Here in Vichka, it dates back to the Stone Age, the Neolithic period. Salt evaporating salty water springing from the earth. Salt used to be produced out of the salt springs. The rock salt was discovered here many years later, which happened in 1270s. No one knows exactly how it happened. Must have been a coincidence. One day salt water finished. They started searching for it under the ground, someone at a well or something like that.
Chút đám cưới dưới này anh nè.
Sao biết?
Ở trong cái trên đó nó wedding ceremony với lại ấy đó. Người nào muốn làm á, phê tiền. Wedding reception dưới này nè. Này nó hạt điện, nó không có để điện nha. Tưới nó bật điện lên.
Thế sợ không?
Quay lại điện, quay mấy đứa nhỏ. Where's Jenny?
Cái này là step on short đó hả? Không phải wood nữa. Không còn wood nữa.
Pretty mad that horses in there. It's weird.
Ôi dữ vậy. Dễ sợ không? Cái này lạ không?
Với cái độc mình đi xuống sâu.
Này Julie. Này xem con. First time you see the strain? Hey Julie. First time you see this strain, right? Nice to know.
Maybe they know. Yeah, a bear or something. Animal that is
Why bear?
a bear.
Muối nó vẫn còn đóng nữa.
Ôi ôi. Ồ, ở dưới này nước coi dưới này nè, coi the food. Yeah. The food. Ôi ôi. Thầy dưới chụp không? Dưới chụp không? Chụp không? Yeah.
Water used to be the worst day here. Ground water. So I think more than 200,000 cubic liters get water because they get here every year. To get to pump it out of here, sometimes they're pumping in 500 liters.
Hả? Chắc chưa?
The example of Holy Cross. The decoration of the place altar. This is an example of a bar. It is more than 300. It's pretty good. There's no need to protect it. Figure of Our Lady is the same way. It is made of the wood. They are nearly 5 kilometers away. It's too far to go. For me, of course, I like to go there. The line is not too deep. 300 meters long on the line east-west.
Stereo.
Cái đọc mà nó làm thành cái orchestra room á.
Oh yeah. Oh. Hay quá hả? Ở dưới đồng đó bao nhiêu feet hả? Bao nhiêu phim mình biết khoan rất hả? Nó khoan rất dưới rồi.
Nó còn xuống nữa đó mà nó không cho mình xuống. Rồi cái mai mà nó làm thành cái phòng, bởi vậy nó làm đám cưới đây nè. Tổ chức đám cưới đây nè.
Cái này hả? Hả? Đánh. Rồi chụp hết nè, nghe. Này hay lắm á. Ok, vô đi, vô đứng đây, vô đi. Có nhờ phải đang chụp.